What happens if there is two new Model Y-like vehicles? Let's pull that apart. Does this image reveal the 2025 Tesla Model Y master plan? Well folks, this image was leaked all over X this week, which then led to tons of speculation as to what Tesla are hiding under the covers. But what they forgot to mention is we already know part of the answer, as Mr. Techno King himself, Elon Musk, has already told us in 2024 Tesla's earnings calls to expect two new vehicles in the early part of 2025 using the existing Tesla Model 3 and Model Y production lines. But what does that actually mean? The truth is, nobody truly knows apart from Tesla right now. But if it's two new vehicles on the existing production lines, that surely must mean that they are somewhat similar to the existing Model 3 and Model Y that we know and love today. But still, what does that even mean? How does it directly affect the also heavily rumoured Tesla Model Y refresh? And the answer, I think, will be well and truly received, even by existing Tesla Model Y owners, for which is why I continue to honestly think not considering a Tesla Model Y today could be a mistake for some, as the shake-up of new vehicles could be months away in 2025. But contrary to that, the Tesla Model Y on offer today offers tremendous value for money, and there's no mystery or smoke and mirrors, as they say. So it's the real deal, but primarily because of one upgrade that stands out in the face of the rumours. So Adam, what is that? Well, if this video sounds like an interesting insight, do hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into it. First up, if you haven't seen my videos on my new Berlin Tesla Model Y, for consistency, you can see my latest video on the screen now, covering this in far more detail. But with Tesla so laser focused on FSD and robotaxis as a whole, Elon has already guided their latest Hardware 5 or AI 5 hardware for their cars for the late 2025 to 2026 window, which means one of two things for a rumoured Tesla Model Y refresh. That means either a release window aligned with the latest FSD suite of hardware being late 2025, or it's going to release earlier in the year with Hardware 4, meaning it has the same FSD capabilities as a Model Y that you can buy today, which should just be software updates away from being FSD capable. Whilst it is incredibly important to understand this FSD hardware point, I don't want to underappreciate that every Tesla Model Y has been an ever-evolving product with huge refinements made in the cabin noise, comfort, and well, pretty much every part of the car really since its release in 2020. But getting back to the point, if the rumours are true and 2025 is the year of the refreshed Tesla Model Y, whenever it is released, it could ultimately end up having the same FSD hardware and capabilities of the Tesla Model Y today. But wait for it. Here is where the real shake-up comes, and this is my prediction for the upcoming year. What happens if there is two new Model Y-like vehicles? Let's pull that apart. First up, is there any need for two Model Ys? Critically thinking, on the face of it, perhaps it's not really essential. The existing Tesla Model Y is already one of the most popular cars worldwide over the past few years, so it's undoubtedly a formula that works. But equally, there are consumers out there that do want a Tesla Model Y-like vehicle, but critically at a more affordable rate, for which compromises do then have to be made to achieve that. Then there is another group of consumers out there that are kind of just opposite to that. They want a larger Model Y with more practical 7-seater option that simply doesn't come with the Model X price tag, maybe a Model Y XL. Hopefully you're still with me here, as here is where it's going to get tasty. But what if one of them two vehicles that Elon mentioned on the Tesla earnings call in 2024 turns out to be a cheaper and more compact Tesla Model Y? This could even look similar to the current variant, but slightly smaller and primarily optimized for cost savings. So maybe they then discard of the vegan leather for cloth-like seats, maybe it then goes stalkless like the refreshed Tesla Model 3, and maybe they actually delete the panoramic roof in favour of a traditional roof with no rear window like the Polestar 3 has done, but really it's just taking a leaf out of the Cybercab's design here. Together with utilising the cheapest and hyper-practical LFP batteries, just like the original rear-wheel drive Tesla Model Y, it will still have all the FSD capabilities, but will focus primarily on cheaper costs, as it has to be careful not to Osborne sales of the more expensive models, and they achieve that by sacrificing some of the luxuries that you do have today just by utilising Tesla's raft of technology advancements like the stalkless driving and relying on the rear camera for rear visibility. So in a nutshell, this is a Tesla Model Y that under the hood still is very much a Tesla car with Tesla specs. Maybe even a few cheeky upgrades like the upgraded refreshed Tesla Model 3 ventilation for the purpose of just sharing parts across the lineup, but with the absolute priority being on how cheap Tesla can make a more compact Tesla Model Y like car, but all whilst maintaining an all-out FSD capable car with just laser focus being on cost savings. There may not even be a performance variant. In fact, they may only just sell one single rear-wheel drive spec of it just to lock in all the production efficiencies perhaps. So if you're now head scratching about what that means for the refreshed Tesla Model Y that has all the goodness of the refreshed Tesla Model 3, yeah, there's no need to panic just yet. There's still room for that, I think. The heavily rumoured Project Juniper Tesla Model Y that has been hyped left, right and centre that may still very well be on the cards for 2025. But what if this is more than a Tesla Model 3 refresh copycat? What if Tesla does go to town on introducing Cybercab-like light bars front and rear, maybe making the cabin large enough to have maybe that credible third row, and maybe Cybertruck's 48-volt architecture for a more luxurious steer-by-wire experience? They may could even just try bolting on a larger battery pack to achieve 400 miles with ease, taking full advantage of Tesla's V4 supercharger upgrades that are now capable of hitting 500 kilowatts for passenger vehicles. And I'm not saying it will hit that higher figure, but even if it's 350 kilowatts, that would probably be a noteworthy achievement. Effectively, this will seem like a wish list of stuff, because what I'm hypothetically saying is that the refreshed Tesla Model Y simply just wows the crowd by digging deeper and further than the refreshed Tesla Model 3 refinements anticipated. Tesla ultimately take a uncompromising approach on the upgrades that occur, but equally still being cost conscious, not to rocket the price too much. But as a result, there's going to be a step up in the premium hierarchy. It may then start being marginally more expensive than the Model Y today, thus creating a hierarchy of value for money between the variants. First up, we have that low cost Model Y compact versus this slightly larger but more premium packed refreshed Tesla Model Y. And this is all without totally annoying existing Tesla Model Y owners by holding the middle ground of premium like features but at a lower price than the larger Model Y. And just to reiterate, this is all just pure speculation based on public information presented to you. I have no idea if this is going to happen, nor am I saying that I know more than Tesla. But do I like the idea of this? I mean, there is something for everyone in this proposal. Am I right? But there is just one more question that needs to be addressed. What's the other new car on the same production line as the Model 3 and Model Y? Well, this is a little bit of a head scratcher for me, and it's even more up in the air because of that. But as it's deemed to be another more affordable product, it's not going to be Roadster, so could this then be a hatch variant of the Model 3? Similar to how a Mercedes A-Class had a hatch and saloon version of each other. Similar spec to the smaller and cheaper compact Model Y mentioned before, but perhaps being only available in a two-door variant maybe. A two-door version really is a wild card option to me, as it doesn't really make sense when we look at a FSD type world if Cybercab is around and about. So if it does play out, we could also see this available in maybe a single rear-wheel drive trim again, just to laser focus on them cost savings. But ultimately, this turns out to be targeting maybe that sub 30 grand bracket perhaps, rather than the 25k Tesla most people wanted. But ultimately, it still opens the affordability door wide open for so many. So not quite the compact as anticipated, but still a worthy effort. A compact car based on Cybercab doesn't really seem possible to me, as we know that the two cars come from existing production lines, so that pretty much rules out a Cybercab compact car, as that has its own production line apparently, as it's utilising different production methods. So to conclude, are these cars the more affordable and more compact Teslas under these covers? Potentially so. Tesla have said that the two cars that are on schedule for a 2025 release are being produced on the same production lines and to expect more affordability. So ultimately, this is how I think it will stack up in 2025. I could be well off the mark here, but personally I think based on what Mr. Musk has said, I think I'm hopefully at least 50% right perhaps. Time will ultimately tell, but one thing is for sure, you have certainty in today's lineup, and with the crazy finance deals on offers being time limited, there is absolutely no guarantee that the same offering will be offered at these low rates for months to come. Therefore, if you are considering a Tesla today, don't forget to take advantage of a Tesla referral link before the offers change, for which I'll happily pop my referral link in the description of the video for you to use. So what do you think about my prediction? Do you agree that the Tesla Compact isn't dead, it's just in a different format now as it's being closer aligned to the Model 3 than the Cybercab? And do you think that the upgraded Model Y will be released later than the cheaper Model Y to align itself to Hardware 5 FSD Suite hardware? Critically speaking, in your opinion, how right or wrong do you think I have been in this video? If you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and take a look at some of the links in the video description, as there are some handsome discounts in there, should we say. You folks have been great, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.